So y'all, kids are in crisis right now. Hey, it's Catherine Lane, and I'm talking about mental health crisis now more than ever before. You guys know this is a subject near and dear to my heart. We lost our grandson, Aiden, who took his own life March 20th of 2023. And I just want y'all to be better prepared, not than we were, because I think that we did a lot of things right, but we thought it would never happen to our family. And I think that's what a lot of people feel whenever they go through something like this. So I just want to get some information to you about how you can recognize a potential problem with your child. And then also how kids can help each other in school, because they talk to each other when they're teenagers more than they talk to their parents. With me today is Kate Brunelson. She is with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, the South Carolina chapter. Kate, thank you for joining me.
Having me.
Yes. So Kate has helped me a lot through this process. I called Kate pretty early on, and we've been talking throughout the year. First of all, what does the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention do?
We are a nonprofit. We have chapters in all 50 states, and our mission is to save lives and bring hope to those who have been affected by suicide. And we do that through outreach, advocacy, and education.
So one program that you're doing that I really, really love, I love everything you guys do with your mission, but I think that kids, they might not be equipped, or they might not have heard what to do if they have a friend that's in crisis. Because I feel like this is something that could have been useful in our journey. Kids just don't know. I mean, they don't know what to do if they have a friend that's in crisis. They might not be willing to, go to an adult whenever that might be a life-saving move to make. So tell me about a program that I got to witness firsthand, which is amazing. We were in a high school in York County, and you were great. First of all, she offered kids candy to answer her questions, which was
it's the key.
But what do you do with your program? What's the name of it?
It's real. Teens for Mental Health. We have two programs, one for middle school, and then we have one for high schools. And we go into the schools and talk to the teens. It's about a 45-minute presentation. And we just go over warning signs, how to have those awkward conversations, what to watch for. And then we just make sure that we leave them resources. Because we know, like you said, sometimes kids don't know. We don't know what to ask. We don't know what to look for. We don't know what to do. So we make sure that everybody leaves with a resource in hand. So if it's for them, a friend, whoever, everybody has a resource that they can contact if they need help.
So I'm going to go back to the home real quick first, and then we'll go back to the school. What are some signs at home? All teenagers are snarky, and they slam the doors, and they're moody. What's the difference between that behavior and some seriously disturbing behavior that you need to be paying real close attention to?
I think you hit it on the mark. As mental health, we have good days, we have bad days, and our teens are certainly no exception. And so we want to watch for typically around 2 weeks. Behaviors that are concerning that are lasting for upwards of 2 weeks, it's really time to have that conversation. But you don't have to wait 2 weeks. If you know your teen seems out of sorts or their moodiness seems extra moody, just check in on them. Ask them how they're doing. Ask them what's going on. But things that you could watch for being withdrawn. So maybe they're kind of withdrawing from friends. They're not enjoying their clubs. Maybe they came down and ate dinner and now they're kind of retreating to their room more. Would be a sign that you would want to watch for. Giving away their possessions. We've heard recently an interesting one that kids are giving away social media passwords. Really? So if you notice all of a sudden, all of your social media passwords, because my 15-year-old would do anything to keep me off of his social media, right? So if he's giving me his passwords, we're going to talk about why he might be doing that.
So in the schools, what can they look for with each other? Now, it's not a kid's responsibility to take care of another kid.
Correct.
But if your best friend is saying, I want to take my life, what should that friend do? Like if it's pretty clear, what the intention is?
If it's pretty clear like that with the intention, the best thing that they can do is reach out to an adult. Stay with that friend. Don't leave that friend alone. Don't assume your friend is joking. We don't joke about suicide. So anytime somebody tells you that they're thinking of taking their life, that they're feeling suicidal, we're going to trust it and we're going to believe that that's what's going to happen. So we're going to make sure that we stay with the friend. We're going to get a trusted adult. That could be a coach, a teacher, whoever you feel safe and comfortable talking to help you with this situation, because this is bigger than a friend situation, right? This is a big deal. So we want to bring some outside help in. There's a lot of resources that then the adult and the student and the friend can go through. There's the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, which is 988. 988. Super easy. Now, just on par with 911, we have 988 for a mental health emergency. South Carolina is unique in that we have mobile crisis. So if you do live in South Carolina, you can contact mobile crisis. Again, but you really need an adult to help you navigate this. This is bigger than a kid problem.
So how big a problem is this? Now, of course, I'm hyper aware now. Is this happening more?
I don't know that I can answer that specifically. I think that there's more awareness to it. So we're hearing about it. In numbers, we know that it's a second leading cause of death for our teens, which is alarming.
The second leading cause of death in teenagers.
So it's definitely something that we need to take action on, and we need to be proactive in talking to them and knowing the signs, knowing the things that we can watch for, and what resources are available to us.
What stressors do kids have now that maybe you and I didn't have?
Oh my goodness, social media for sure is a huge stressor.
The devil. I'm sorry, it's the devil.
And social media.
Yeah, we have to use it at work, but it's the devil.
But even as an adult,
Right.
I find myself, feeling a certain way sometimes on social media. I think that's a big one. And I think the important thing for parents to remember is that just because it's not a stress that we have, doesn't mean it's not a stress for our youth. Like if they come to us and say, I'm really stressed out or I'm feeling really depressed about something, it's not for us to gauge what that is. If they're talking to us, we need to listen to them and not shut that down by saying, well, you don't know what stress is. Wait till you have bills to pay or,
Right.
So make sure that you're open to that conversation because it is hard. Social media and academics are difficult. The schools, they're having lockdown drills and shootings and violence and vaping. And there's so many stressors in our kids' school. So that's something to be mindful of.
So much. So 988 is a good resource to have when you're that trusted adult.
Mm-hmm.
So your teenager comes, to you and they or comes to the parent and says, hey, a friend is going through this. And what happens when you call that 988 number?
988 is answered by trained licensed clinicians. So they're able to just walk you through some steps. So they're able to ask, checking for safety, making sure that person's okay. Do they have a means? Are they safe where they are currently? And just kind of assessing that initial safety. But then they're able to have a conversation. Sometimes I think we feel hesitant to have conversations because we don't know what to say. They know what to say. They're ready to say it and they want to talk to people.
Because people might be like at the point of actually carrying it through.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when they're there, they're past hearing. But these people, this is a good thing. 988 is a good thing.
It's a great thing.
And I will say that I actually called 988 for myself when I was having a really, really hard day. And I was able to talk to somebody, not because I was wanting to take my own life, but if you have any mental health crisis,
yes,
they're there for you. If you have any kind of mental health crisis, if you're absolutely desperate, you're in a puddle of tears, you don't know which way to turn, you can't think, you can't sleep, you can't eat, that's where I was. And they were able to, there was a trained professional on the other. It's a good thing. People sometimes are hesitant to call a number that sounds like an emergency.
Yeah.
Definitely call in an emergency, but doesn't that always happen?
It does not have to be an emergency. In fact, it's better if you don't wait for it to get to that emergency point, right? You said you can just call and check in and have some support. And the same for somebody who is concerned about a friend or a loved one. You can call and just get some guidance and some next steps and some resources as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of kids hesitate to maybe talk to a trusted adult whenever they feel like something's wrong with their friend because they're afraid, oh, my friend's going to get mad at me.
Uh-huh.
Well, the alternative is they're going to be dead.
Yes.
So you'd rather have a friend mad and alive and maybe, on the road to getting better than, something fatal happening to that friend.
Absolutely. We don't keep secrets in regards to suicide ever because we know that when we silence it, suicide kills. So that's not a secret you can keep for your friend ever.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also another thing is, they're just being dramatic. Always take that friend seriously and let them know, hey, this is serious business. Don't say this unless you're serious. And then, so it's not being dramatic. They can really mean this.
And even if they are doing it and it's coming across in a dramatic way, they need help somehow.
Mm-hmm.
There's something going on that they're not able to express. They're not able to verbalize. They're having trouble talking about it. So regardless of how it's coming out, they need help for something and they need support.
And it's really hard, for families who have gone through this kind of loss to go on and to have, whatever the new normal is. But you guys come in there too.
We do.
And how do you help survivors of a suicide loss?
So we have a couple different things. We have our Healing Conversations program, which you can call and be connected with somebody who has a similar loss. So I lost my brother to suicide. I could call that number and be connected with somebody else who lost a sibling. And they're further along in their grief journey, so they've had time to process it and heal and, kind of gather the resources and tools that they need. So they're able to just share that with you. They're able to come to you in a place of understanding that not many people can understand, really, unless you've been there.
Yeah.
And so they're just able to lend you some support. And then we also have our Out of the Darkness walks, which are our community walks that happen across all of South Carolina. We have 11 walks this year. And those are just a great place for people to come together. It's lost survivors, people who support the cause, and just be together with one another.
So, Kate, one thing I noticed whenever you were in the schools is there was a nurse there in the classroom, and you presented it in such a way that was fun for the kids to answer the questions. Like I said, she offered candy for a response. Those kids had some really insightful answers.
They really do.
They took you seriously, and they enjoyed your program. So when you go in, it's not a big, heavy thing. It's something they're going to learn from, start a dialogue. Hopefully continue that dialogue, afterwards. So it's a great resource that you guys provide. How can people get in touch with you? Schools or maybe parents that are interested, how can they get in touch with you to maybe have you come into their schools to present your program?
Too. Our contact information, you can find it on our website, which is afsp.org/South Carolina.
All right, Kate Brennelson with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Thank you for the hope, girl.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.